It's going to be a doozy. This is this is not going to be a fun one. Oh my land, why am I recording this time of night? Whatever. All I'm going to say is sadness to the extreme. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome back to another Unhealthy Scratches podcast, episode 3. We have made it this far. If you have kind of already noticed, I am the only one speaking right now. Last week we didn't have one come up because of different reasons. One of them being I was not feeling well. I was kind of sick, not COVID. Don't you worry about a thing. Not COVID whatsoever. However, I was definitely quite under the weather, and as well just the way that the schedule worked out, we just weren't able to get one filmed. And this week, Cakes is sick. So it means that I'm going to be doing this one solo because it's been 2 weeks. And I already went over with Cakes to see if it was okay. And if he was okay, if he wanted me to just go solo or if he wanted to join in. And he just said to take her. And so I'm here. And I get to talk with you guys about a very special night. Um, I'm going to be straight up honest. I am not excited about this. I am absolutely soul crushed. I am saddened, with a little bit of that good stuff in there. And so, I mean, why don't we just jump straight into this? If you don't know who I am, I'm Matt. Also, Can't Get Nucks on Twitter. And then, the one who isn't here is Cakes. I can't remember his Twitter handle. It's all this stuff is in the description. Links, all that's in the description. So don't you worry about a thing if you can't remember. And also the Unhealthy Scratches podcast as well. All that stuff is in the description if you want to check it out. But we're kind of getting sidetracked right now. Why don't we dive in to I just want to brush on a couple things, stuff that's lightly because we're gonna talk about it more when Cakes is back. And he did specifically request one specific one to not cover yet, so I won't dive into that one too much. And plus, I feel like we could be in and out of this podcast in like a half an hour. You think it could happen? You think that could happen? Oh my land, I'm really good at talking. But I think it could happen that we can get in and out clean. Basically, if you don't know what time, we usually like to record on Thursdays. And we usually can get it up Sunday. Hopefully this one's going to get up on Sunday. However, I'm filming on Saturday, which means that there's going to be a lot less cuts, stuff like that. However, it also means that I have watched all the hockey games that have happened tonight, Saturday, December 4th. And if you can tell what my favorite team is, well, what a doozy. In the last 2 weeks, I know for Canadians, I'm going to save a lot of that stuff for Cakes. Just, it's his team. I don't want to touch on it too much. However, I'm going to just brush a little bit. Seeing Carey Price back on the ice a little bit definitely must make him quite happy. So I am quite stoked for him in that regard. However, there is one game I just have to discuss, and I am so sorry, Nick. I'm truly sorry. Okay, I know a lot of the time you're supposed to have like the you're supposed to be like quite, what is the word? You gotta be quite like competitive about it. You gotta be, like, oh, it's my team against your team. Oh, and trash talk and all that. And I definitely did not do any of that. However, the Vancouver Canucks and the Montreal Canadiens did go against each other on, of course, that's one of the only things I don't have pulled up. Way to go, me. Earlier in this week, the Canadiens and the Canucks went against each other, and it was kind of going to be a doozy because of the fact that the Canadiens and the Canucks both are quite low in the standings bracket. I would say the Canucks are definitely a little bit better off, because the poor Canadiens are in such a tougher division by far. Dude, I feel bad for Cakes in that regard. He has got himself just an abysmal run for his team, and it's not even the entire team's fault. They're missing some key players that are out for very good reasons. So it's just the way the cookie crumbles, in all honesty, and it really sucks. It does. However, it was November 29th that the game happened, and wouldn't you know it, but by the ending of it, my team came out on top. And I felt kind of bad. I won't lie. Um, and I mean, I'll talk a little bit about the second goal. I'd rather talk about it with Cakes here though so much, rather than just talking about it alone because I know that he would have some stuff. But poor Josh Anderson. Can I just say that Josh Anderson? He gives away. Oh my land. Gives away the stink. But he falls. He slips on the ice. Happens. Puck goes down. He then gets it and then gives it away to Bull Horvath. Oh my gosh. Like, oh man, that poor guy. And that ended up being the game-winning goal. Also, though, I know that last week was pretty abysmal for the Canucks. Like, 4 games in a row losing. Boston being the final one. That one kind of hurt. Chicago's one definitely hurt too. Pittsburgh's 4-1 loss. It just clicked into me that Pittsburgh beat the Canucks 4-1 in both games. Stink. The Montreal win was definitely a sigh of relief after a 4-game losing streak. Even though the final goal just happened to be the way it was. Demko just being such a good goaltender. Like, I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to spend a lot of the time, pretty much the entire time, just talking about my team and the state that it is some more, now that we are as many games in as we are. Oh, my land. I don't know why they said not to worry. 25 games in, and we are just so... Oh, boy. It's a tough one. And I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more positive as well when it comes to talks with the Canucks, because they're getting bashed big time, and it's not like it's completely undeserved, but it's pretty toxic, I won't lie. And it's got to calm down. I need a little sip of coffee. Oh, thank you. It's decaf because it's late at night and I would like to go to bed. But, but it's just really unfortunate to see the state that the Canucks are in. But the Ottawa win was huge. 6-2 win. I understand it's the Senators and they were the bottom of the barrel team, but they did also just beat the Avs. They're on like a 2-game winning streak, I think the Sens are. The Sens are they're beating top tier teams and they lost to the Canucks. It gives me hope for the Canucks. It really does. If you're a top tier team and you lose to one of the lower teams and then a team beats that, then you have high hopes for the team. I understand there's different playing styles. I understand all that stuff, but it's like, come on. That Montreal win was definitely demoralizing for Cakes, and that's why I don't really want to touch on it too much, because I do have a little bit of... It's like, man, it's so sad. I can't try and be competitive about it, because both of our teams are bottom of the barrel. We're not like the very worst team. No, we're not dead last, but we're like pretty much dead last. And so that game was a tough one, because it's like, whoever wins, it's not going to affect the standings really, because we're on different divisions, so it doesn't really affect, but it is a win that we all both need. And so it's basically whoever wins, congratulations. Whoever loses, I'm sorry. And that's kind of the mentality I had, at least going into it. I don't know what Cakes had. He might have had a lot more of a vengeful, like, I want to win. I have no idea. But it was just kind of like a hope for the best. Let's see what happens. And the Canucks ended up coming out on top. Also out shooting 42-34. And then the next game on the December 1st, where the Canucks beat the Sens 6-2, JT Miller. What was that goal? I'm not even like, what was that goal, JT Miller? That was phenomenal. Can I have oh, okay, I have nothing to, I need a puck. The puck's way over there. I'm not grabbing a puck. Go like, just, it was beautiful to walk through those 4 defenders, Connor McDavid style. Come on. Incredible work. I love it. That was really enjoyable to see. But I will say there's one part of the Ottawa game that had me really concerned. And it's the fact that both teams were kind of sloppy. I won't lie. Both teams were kind of sloppy playing. while watching it and watching it back some more, the more I noticed, sorry, I hit the microphone. The more I noticed the game, or the more I like looked into it, the more I just saw the team was really sloppy, and it was very scary to know that it was both teams. It wasn't like one, and it seemed like that, and it wasn't always sloppy. I won't say it wasn't, but it was really slow paced. It just, other than the JT Miller goal, I will be honest, that was not a fun game to watch. It just wasn't. And I feel bad for saying that. I didn't enjoy watching that. I was actually more concerned about the fact that it was really sloppy. And again, it wasn't the entire game, but, you know, it's kind of a bummer. I won't lie. The JT Miller goal, like I said, just a golden goal. And again, Thatcher Demko is just a good goalie. I am so happy we have him on the Canucks because we desperately need something going on for us. And if Pittsburgh is a game that proves anything, it's bad luck. I'm not going to lie. This game tonight was bad luck. It's not to say that everything that happened was or wasn't deserved, but it was bad luck, bro. Another 4-1 loss, and to know that the game was tied 2-2. It was tied for the entire first period, no goals. Second period, like, it's just so sad. The Hattie, though, may I get Gensel with the, I hope I pronounced his last name right, I just realized that. But Jake, let's go with that. The Hattie that he got tonight, props to you on that. And Crosby's little tap in at the ending, that's big. And I should probably mention, I'm not going to try and pronounce that guy's last name. I suck with last names. Can I say that? Does anyone else suck with last names? I'll raise my hands to that. Because I'm not going to try and pronounce the Canucks player, because you think I'd have these names memorized off the top of my head, but no, I don't. And I look at it just like, yeah, sure. Whatever. You can see my flaws. I don't care. But this is off topic. But we did get one, and it was kind of a fluky one. But pretty much every goal tonight, except for Crosby's, was fluky. And it was kind of just breaking down the game in and of itself. The first goal, come on, it hit off of a player and bounced directly to Gensel, and he popped that bad boy in. It's like, of course that's the bounce that happens. And I'm gonna, here we go. You ready? Podkolzin. I probably mispronounced his name. Pops in the one for the Canucks. Fluky looking goal, wasn't it? Because it like did an arc. It was like a stinking rainbow. What the heck is going on with that? Stinking rainbow. And it goes in, 1-1, and then, wouldn't you know it, hits, Gensel gets the shot, hits Ekman Larsson's stick, and it pops in. And if Ekman Larsson didn't touch the puck, Demko would have saved it. And I didn't even mention the reason why the shots even were, why the desperation was even there. And I should probably get into that. I'm just going to mention the goals, and then I'll brush on the penalties after. I say brush. I'm not gonna focus on it too much. But hits off Ekman Larsson's stick, pops up, goes in, 2-1 game. Gensel's last goal hits Luke Shen. Goes into the net. Hits his back, goes into the net. Whether Demko would have saved that one, maybe, maybe not. But still, it's like, legitimately, all of Gensel's goals were it hit off a body. And because it hit off a body, it ended up going in the net. The first goal, the only reason why it did is it hit off a body and shot out to him. So you have an argument there. And then Crosby's goal was just a good goal. And Demko got a good piece of it, but not enough. So it's oh my land. So basically every goal, it's like, are you going to say Demko has to have those? Because they're hitting off bodies in front. And you can't even blame the bodies. I mean, Ekman Larsson's, you can maybe blame that second one. Because his stick, you have to depend on the goalie. But there was another reason why, and it was desperation because of the penalties. My land. When you have just as many people in the box as you do out on the ice, I understand that technically it's not that hard to do, but like, Canucks can't get a break, is what it is. Canucks cannot get a break for the life of them, and it's absolutely abysmal. I'm really kind of downtoned right now. We gotta pick this up right now. You know what it is? Has nothing to do with this because it's decaf. It has no energy. I just like the taste of it. Okay, get off my back. Um, but oh my land, it is demoralizing to see. Just to see the state that the team is in right now. Um, I, I, the penalties were a tough one. Garland's misconduct really didn't help the team. Didn't help anything, and see, the problem is when it comes to penalties, as the player who is cheering for the team that's getting the penalties, obviously I don't want it to happen, right? Like, you don't. And so you make up excuses in your head that says that shouldn't be that much of a penalty or it shouldn't be that bad. And it's like, yeah, maybe so, but it's enough that makes you just shake your head. It's just bad luck, in all honesty. Like, it just sucks. That's a better term to put it. It just sucks. And that's what this entire... Why am I so red? I just realized... I'm so red. Whatever. It's just... It really sucks. Looking. It really sucks, though. That is what has happened. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. So hopefully our game versus the Kings, we actually win. It's in the team. The team can do it. I understand that they have not been getting wins against teams that they need to get wins against. Ottawa was a team they needed to beat, and they did. Pittsburgh was... Actually, they just need wins in general. They're 25 games in. There are 82 games in total. They are 25 in, and they are where they are. Not good. Not good at all. So, I mean, what doesn't make it any easier is seeing the look on the players' faces. It's awful to watch, to look at Pedersen, to look at Besser, to look at Horvat, to look at Demko. Demko's not even that bad. Because he's doing his job. Demko is doing his job to the best of his ability. Like, in all honesty, especially tonight's game, can you blame Demko? And if your answer is yes, then you need to look at the goals again, and you need to take a little fact check. There are bounces that happen that are out of your control, and that you don't see coming, and then there's your players blocking the shots, and it directs them to go into the net. And as a goaltender, you just can't predict that. You're working on predicting the shots, and that's why deflections are obviously so hard to save, because predicting them is near impossible unless you can tell that it's going to happen before the puck hits the stick, or it's just luck of you're just in the right place and it hits you. That's pretty much it. And so Demko is doing his job, and I think no one will argue that point, though, especially any Canuck player, or not player. The players would too, but any fans, Demko's doing his job. And that's what scares me about it, is the fact that where the team is right now, and especially with what has happened, especially Pittsburgh, when Pittsburgh played, especially the crowd response, especially, and how it's been ongoing. This response has not been the first time. It's all over Twitter, and it is the most repeated thing about the Canucks to see. And this is why I don't want to have so much negativity on it, because the players are just getting crumbled. They're getting crushed by everything. And even though their job is supposed to be what it is, I mean, we just talked about the mental health stuff. Like, what? Just just the last two episodes we've actually touched on it more, and I understand like this kind of stuff. You gotta just do it. You gotta bring something to the table. You can't use the crowd as an excuse to be like, I saw on my camera, like, you can't use the crowd as an excuse to be like, oh, I'm underperforming because of that. You have to make something happen, but it just doesn't help. And I understand it's the frustration out of the fans, it's the frustration out of the players that seemingly they feel like they're not getting anywhere, and it's all just a mess. And that's why I think these two wins that were given, no matter how sloppy I might think that they are, or other people might think that it is, those two wins helped. They're not going to be the lifesaver. They're not. But those two wins helped. It shows that even if they're playing against, it doesn't matter who they're playing against, they can at least get wins. And Pedersen even popped one of the goals in Montreal, which I understand that a lot of people kind of point out specific players and say like they're underperforming, and it is true that they are, but it's like something's being done. We've seen these frustrations before in other teams, though, right? This frustration has been around for a while. I remember at the beginning of the year, for Toronto specifically, the main players were not getting the job done. They weren't, and you could use the excuse, especially Matthews' wrist, and you could use excuses about it, but they were underperforming. Mitch Marner was one of the players that you could say was underperforming. And now look at Toronto after last month. They went on the hottest streak I've ever seen them. Just this game, they lost, yeah, in a shootout, gives them the point. They are in the lead. They are now the number one team in the NHL. They are the top. Panthers is the team. If Panthers get a win, obviously, that means that Panthers will go up. But that's how crazy Toronto is now. And they had their main players were not getting the job done. And they were depending on other players that were lower, that weren't signed up to be the biggest goal scorers, and they were doing more stuff. And Vancouver is kind of in the same position. There are now. I'm not saying that all the big players aren't, and that's the same for Toronto at the beginning. There were some players that were signed to that were good that got the job done in Toronto, and in Vancouver, JT Miller and Quinn Hughes, they're doing stuff. I was so happy to see Connor Garland actually getting a goal against in Montreal. It was nice to see that he did something, and then that's kind of a bad roast. And then to see some other players, Horvat doing something as well, and Luke Shen with the first goal of his career as a Canuck. Way to go on that one. But it's definitely taking a toll. And Pedersen and Besser talks in there whether like how they're not performing, and they need to. And the crossbar shot for Pedersen did not help him. His reaction afterwards, man, I won't lie, I am terrified for what's going to happen to Canucks. Because they've got players. They've got players to make a good team, and you just sit there like knowing that they have the players for the team, and they're not winning. And so obviously, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, the PK has got to do something about it. And I mean, Pittsburgh's game did not help, because those 5-on-3s, it's like, how are you supposed to save them? And they even blocked half the shot and went in, and you just sit there like, you gotta make this, the penalties, you gotta watch out for the penalties. Even if you think the calls are stupid, even if they are wrong. Yeah. Just a tough one. Just a tough 1.5. And it's good to know some of the players are doing something, and that there is work being done. It's just, dude, it is sad. It's sad. It's sad. And I've talked way too much about just kind of almost putting down the team. And I don't want to come across as that, because I know The team has a roster. The team can do something. What are the Canucks? What is something the Canucks can do, and what did they do in their wins? And even in some of their losses, actually. And Pittsburgh, it proved otherwise, and we technically can see Vancouver's biggest faults, obviously, through it. But the Canucks are a team that gets shots. They get a lot of shots. That is the kind of team that they are. They are offensive. And it's why they've been losing so much, obviously. It's because they're an offensive team that relies on offense. Their defense is weaker. It definitely is. And so it's just, they didn't get the shots they needed. Pittsburgh shuts them down. Pittsburgh has shut them down 2 games in a row. When Canucks have faced Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh shut them down. And even if tonight was not the worst game in the world for the Canucks, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And again, this was not the worst week for the Canucks. Like, they've won 2 games, lost 1. You have to take positives into consideration. You just have to, because how just imagine being a Canuck player and you hear all the negativity that's going on. And yes, negativity does spark change. If you're down low, then that'll spark change. But the thing is after a while, if you just are pounded with that thought, it's going to take a toll. And so trying to focus on some of the wins is a definite need. You got 2 wins. Doesn't matter what the teams were. You got the 2 wins. You have the potential to do it. Walk into December 6th against the LA Kings and win a game. That's what they need. They obviously, yes, they need anything that they can get. But just taking it one game at a time, and it's not to say that they aren't. And again, you always use the excuse, the St. Louis Blues, with their dead last to comeback. That's always in the back of anyone's mind with their team if they're doing really badly. Like right now, let's be honest, what team is thinking about that right now? What team that is doing really badly is possibly thinking about that because they just came off winning 2 big games? The Senators are definitely thinking that. They just, like, come on. They beat the Avs? Like, and then the game before, excuse me, I also don't have this one up. I have other notes here. They beat Carolina. Like, come on. That is 2 big wins. Carolina and Colorado, and you beat them both. It doesn't matter if it's by 1 goal or not. You were the bottom team. And you just got 2 big wins. Like, that is exactly what the Sens needed. And it shows that they have the ability to do so. They have the ability to win games. And how is that not the same for every other team that's at the bottom? There are a couple teams that aren't surprising, obviously. But it's like if the Senators can beat Colorado and can beat Carolina, how can the Canucks not have a shot? It's not game over until it's game over, obviously. They still have a chance. They still have hope. They have got to pull something out. It is going to be difficult, but they can do it. They just have to do it. They have to. And I like to joke sometimes about how some days I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna switch teams. I'm so done with this. In reality, I'm not gonna be done with the Canucks. I've seen Canucks at a low before. I've also seen them at a high, and after the last couple seasons, I've been very hype about the Canucks because their team is growing. And again, what's the past excuse you can use? Toronto. That's the past excuse. They had good players, good young players. They didn't have depth, and they were struggling for a while. But they had the power, but they were struggling to get. They haven't been able to get past round 1 yet, obviously, and who's to say that they won't get past round 1? I think there's a very good shot that at this rate and time, especially 25 games in, they're going past round 1 of the playoffs. Knock on wood for anyone who needs it. Whoop-de-doo. But Canucks are kind of, I find, in a similar case. You can blame the coaches all you want. I can blame the coaches all I want. We can blame whatever it is we need to blame. But at the end of the day, there is still the potential that's there. And maybe it's a false hope at the end of the day. Maybe at the ending of this season, they stay exactly where they are. They have some players. You build off of that. Last year, they tried it. They tried to get some players. Nate Smith. They also tried Braden Holtby. They tried some of that stuff. Here's what they have. A solid goaltender. Good players. Underperforming players. Good offensive players. What do they have to work on now? Defense. PK. Finding out what team works best. Putting the players that are doing the best out. Using the ones that are the best out on the ice. Using the ones that are actually getting the goals, the ones that are doing the work. Put them on the ice. The people that aren't, maybe you got to wake them up. Put them down a line. Put them down a shift. Wake them up. Use your best players, the ones that are matching them. Obviously, you don't want to throw out like 3 right wings, obviously, but use your players that are doing work. We got a solid goaltender on Canucks. Not gonna lie, we have a solid goaltender, but work has to be done, or else we're just gonna be in the waves, just tossed around. Nothing good gonna happen. Just floating there, hoping that something will happen. Something's gonna come and swoop in and save the game. Like, no. We got a roster. Let's use it. Alright, I've talked enough about Canucks on this. I don't think I'm gonna brush on the Canucks anymore, actually. Sorry, Cakes, about the Montreal game. Good job, though, Canucks, for the last 2 wins. Pittsburgh won. Just unlucky. I mean, I don't know if there's another one. Demko making 40 saves out of 44 shots. That's a lot of shots you have to take. But that's how Pittsburgh plays. Lots of shots. And Canucks did not have a lot of shots. So, there it is. I mean, I'm only allowed to brush on this point for a little bit, so I will not stay on it too long. But yes, the bite. The bite. The bite. I say the bite, and it doesn't actually give a good enough name, because it was more than one bite. Brady Tkachuk and Brendan Lemieux. That was something else to see. That wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. I'm not allowed to brush on this too much. Cakes wants to be here and especially talk about it. I'm refraining from making one of the jokes from Steve Dangle. I really want to say it, I won't lie. But I am going to hold off just because I want to save it. Because I have a feeling Cakes wants to say it. And if Nix wants to be the one to say it, we'll let him say it. Why don't we? That was pretty something else, we'll say. And that's all I'll say about that for now. Also in news, this is not great news to see. This just popped up on the 2nd of December. This news, we've talked about it. The first episode, we talked about the Chicago scandal. We talked about John Doe, Kyle Beach, and the how long it took for the file to get noticed and how it's been kind of pushed under the rug, especially the entire situation in and of itself. And if you have no clue about it still, or you don't have the information, or you're trying to look for the post way back then, you can either search it up online. The first video that we have on this channel has links to it as well. But on the 2nd of December, good old Rick Westhead put out a put out a little thing on TSN about the scandals, some more stuff. And at first glance, I'm gonna be honest, I definitely was like a little bit. When I first saw it on Twitter, sorry, I was a little bit um, baffled. Is the best word to give, but reading into it more, it does help to understand what's going on. And I'm not here to defend the Blackhawks for this decision, but I'm also not going to all out bash on them because it's politics is what it is. And so you're going to try and do your best to make sure that any bad publicity is knocked off as quick as possible. And you're going to do whatever it takes to get there without losing too much money. Because that's how it works. And the complete title of it, it's great. It's a real clickbait one. But it says Blackhawks challenge Beach's repressed memory, in quotations, claim, and file motion to dismiss. When I saw that, I almost freaked out really badly, and I immediately had to click on it and look it up. I looked it up. I hit the mic again, sorry. I looked it up yesterday. It was actually the third when I first saw this. It was either the third or the second. I forget because I was on my phone on Twitter, and I saw that pop up as a notification, and I couldn't believe it. But reading a little bit further, obviously gives a little bit more context of the entire situation. Basically, what the Chicago Blackhawks are doing are kind of going against the lawsuit because of the fact that it took so long for Kyle Beach to file a dispute about it. And they're still meeting with Beach's attorney on December 15th. So that is definitely happening, and chances are, because of that, there will be no law or there will be not really anything that can really happen legally until after that date happens. But basically, because of the fact that it took so long for it to be processed in and all that stuff, Chicago's basically trying to dismiss it altogether. And putting it that way is not probably, it'll boil your skin by far. That'll boil your skin. Come on, if especially phrasing it that way. And again, we don't see what is inside the heads of every party involved. The only thing that we know is that it's going to be about politics, not about morality's sake, even though they do mention in the newsletter, and I'm trying to find it right now, that's why. They do mention about that aspect of it. Here it is. In its motion to dismiss Beach's law, the team wrote that it has committed to pursue a reasonable solution of the issue raised by Mr. Beach as a moral imperative rather than a legal obligation. And obviously, in those words, it does make you feel like maybe they're trying. And I just feel bad for being for anyone that's a Blackhawks fan. Because the fans especially, like, they're kind of in the ringer right now. Like, in all honesty, when it comes to especially this stuff, you guys have got to be in the ring, and I don't know. I really don't know what I would do. Trying to think about this, if this were to have happened to my team, who I cheer for, the Canucks, if this kind of story would have come out, I don't know if I would be able to cheer for them or not. Obviously, painting Chicago as the bad guys in this entire situation, or the league as a bad guy, there's enough stuff about the league in general anyways that can really get under your skin so easily. But again, it's about politics is what it is, and it's all politics, and politics is something that will always be around, and it's always annoying as ever. But with that statement, basically, they kind of do hit that little spot inside of you, and you can take it one of two ways. You can either take it as, oh, they're doing it as a moral imperative. They're doing it out of the kindness of their heart rather than doing it out of they have to. And then you take it the other way. They're doing it out of the kindness of their heart rather than legal obligation. And it's like, yeah, no. If you could find a way around this, you would. And it does make me think. There was one point that kind of came up. Chicago has been a little bit more quiet over recent times, and it makes me wonder, were they combing through the legalistic parts, trying to find something that can kind of basically find a loophole almost? Be like, oh, well, because you took this long, we don't have to. Or did they have this one backed up for a while now, and they just used it when it was kind of more calm? Obviously, just the way that it sounds, I don't like it. I won't lie. I don't like it. That's my opinion, though, which is not fact. Just because you have a bad feeling about something, no matter how much you're right about it or wrong about it, it's not fact. Your feelings are never fact. So it's a tough one in and of itself, and this is where I wish Cakes was here to give his aspect on it, and maybe we might cover it more, because the 15th, I mean, that's in like 2 weeks' time, so it's not like we're going to be missing out if we wait a week and talk about it together about it, or if some more information ends up coming up later on it, because this was December 2nd. And basically, at the end of the day, the settlement's probably going to happen on December 15th. So until that day comes, there's probably not going to be anything that actually can happen. And especially if it does happen, I won't lie. If it does happen, this is where the players or the fans are going to step in, without a doubt. If this were to go south and the Chicago, the political side of it, now that means you can't blame all the players and coaches and stuff, even if some of them had been at fault for some aspects of it. This is the legalistic side of things. If this were to go south and Chicago were to absolutely do the worst move possible, the fans are going to step in. Chicago fans are going to be at an even harder turn. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if the Blackhawks do something like that and do the worst case scenario, I don't know how anyone's going to be able to cheer for the team with the knowledge. Without the knowledge, sure. Chicago Blackhawks have been a good team in the past. They haven't always been like this, and political sides of things are always really tough to talk about just because of the fact that it gets really dirty. There is dirt. There's probably dirt on every team. Not to this degree of what has happened, but there's probably dirt around everything. And so it makes it really... That's an assumption, by the way. Let me preface that one. That's an assumption that there is dirt. It is not fact. You have to prove something, which is why it's quite difficult when it comes to this stuff, because you have to prove it so much, and then you have to now hope that you do it at a timely manner and not have it swept under the rug. Oh. But I don't know what's going to happen at the ending. And at this point, you could do more than speculate. You can definitely do more, but it was really rough to see this post come up, and it's just awful to see. It really is. And I'll leave a link to this post in the description by Rick Westhead. I will have it. There's a short video just talking a little bit about it, like about a 2.5 minute video, and then just a little post on it. I've already read quite a bit of it to you guys, but if you want to have it, it will be there for you. I'll leave a link in the description below for it. Let's check on time beforehand. Okay, we're doing good for time. Probably we'll just go for a little bit longer. I've already talked about my team and how absolutely sad I am about it. Now talked about this scandal and a little bit more information kind of on it. This was actually, I'm going to be honest, this scandal was probably the biggest reason why I wanted to make a video on it. Obviously, the Montreal and Vancouver game. Why the heck would I not want to make a video on it? But that was the biggest reason why, was this post was... It was shocking to read about at the beginning, and there's a little bit more kind of information that is there so that it's not as rough, but it's enough that you're uneasy about what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. So basically, we just have to wait 2 weeks, about maybe less, maybe more, but until December 15th comes, they can say whatever they want, but chances are nothing will happen unless something wants to get screwed over, which, who knows? I know that last week we talked a little bit. I don't know if this ever made the cut or if it was cut out. And now that I'm saying this, because this is going to be not as edited, it's pretty much just going to be a straight on through without really any cuts. But I know we were going to talk about a little bit of Star Wars, but I will save that when Cakes is here, because I know that he'll definitely want to talk about a little bit of stuff like that. But definitely want to have... I know we're a sports channel, and I know it was so funny. We're sticking... We talk about hockey. Like, that was the main reason why we created this. And then you guys don't understand what was cut from the podcast. But we spent at least half the time talking about video games. Might I add, I've been playing a lot of NHL recently, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, but we definitely spent a lot of time on it, and luckily we won't have to too much longer. What am I even saying? Okay, just whatever. We're keeping that in, by the way. I'm not cutting this, but we won't talk about video games, hopefully. And Star Wars I might leave out. By the way, if you ever noticed in the back, let me see if it's actually... I don't have the camera pulled up, that's why. Right there, I have some... Oh, obviously you can see that, but we've already pointed that out. My little tie bag. I have a couple ties, don't I? I have a lot of ties. A lot of them are gifts, though, so... Hey, I mean... They've really come in handy, I won't lie. In the past, especially, they have come in handy even today. All those ties. They're really tie... I was going to make a bad pun and I stopped myself. No pun is bad. I love puns. I could talk about that, actually. I could talk about jokes in general. No. I love puns, though. Oh, you know what? I could get away with that. Oh, I could get away with that because Cakes ain't here and Cakes would groan at all of them. He would laugh at a few of them, definitely, but he would groan immensely. And I can't even show any on here. Oh, unless I were to edit them in. But I love jokes. I don't know about you guys. I will talk about this. I have one little part inside of me that it irks a little bit. A little tiny bit. It's technically a lot more than a little tiny bit, but it's enough that makes me go, come on. I understand that jokes are subjective. Comedy is subjective. So one joke might make one person laugh, but it might make one person just like kind of go, I don't care. Like, so when it comes to joking, it's tough. I do not like the fact of how puns and dad jokes are looked so down upon. I do not like that fact. I don't. Because I know that a lot of more popular jokes that are out there are either jokes... It kind of like three topics and they all tie in together. But you've got like... deconstructive jokes, I'm going to call them. Basically, that down yourself. Like, or something that like shows that you're tired or something. It's like me after working 16-hour shifts for 2 months straight and someone asked me if I want to go out. Like, it's like, I understand the comedy in them, but that one's not the greatest example of deconstructive, but jokes like that, or jokes that just say, like, my degrading mental health when someone says this, it's like, I don't know. I don't find those. And again, that's why jokes are subjective. I don't find those funny anymore, I won't lie. Just because of the fact that they they kind of bash yourself, and it's like, obviously, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't, like, come on. Some stuff you're gonna do is gonna be hilarious and it's gonna be kind of dumb. I do it quite a bit. Cakes can vouch for this. This is why I have to talk about this when Cakes is not here, because he would slam me so hard on on dumb things that I've done, and I could do the same thing to him. But come on, because we've all done dumb stuff. It happens. Dark jokes though are a second one. I do not like dark jokes anymore. I used to find them funny, but it's just like, I find it's too far now, personally. Oh, thank you, camera, for freezing. I find it's too far now. I don't like dark jokes anymore. What was the last joke I was going to say? I think I technically said it by saying, like, the 12-hour shift one, the 16-hour shift one, sorry, or the, basically tearing yourself down. Or tearing other people down, I guess, would be the third. Like, making a joke. Tearing other people down. It's kind of like, I don't know. It just hurts all around. It hurts people all around. And I think that's why I don't like them. Dark jokes, obviously, like, if you work in a tough environment, it does make sense. Or if you live in a tougher environment, you're gonna find dark jokes more funny than others. I just don't enjoy them because I don't know. When I prefer a joke, you ready for this one? And I'm gonna reveal something about myself, and you could not have any information, even though we've had a podcast. This is the third episode, but we've had a podcast for this long, and I have definitely not made any jokes that could back this up. I like lighthearted jokes. And if I say a joke that I find too far, I will apologize instantly. I already can think of one joke right now where I felt I went too far, and I feel absolutely horrible for saying it, for having said it. It was one of my, it's a dumb mistake, right? We've all done dumb things. That's one of my dumb jokes, is one of the ones. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but if you have seen it, you know. Wasn't a dark joke, but it was not a constructive joke. But I love here. I like lighthearted jokes. Especially, though, dad jokes and puns. I love dad jokes and puns. And I used to hate them. I used to. I used to be on the bandwagon that would groan and moan and would refuse to laugh at them. And then I grew up. Yes. No. I don't know. I think, and it comes to every joke, right? If you can think, like, in every type of joke, there are some jokes that just are clever. And I think a pun can be a very clever joke. Dad jokes, there's a reason why they're called dad jokes. And we've definitely blown dad jokes out of proportion, because a bad joke is not a dad joke. But a dad joke, for the most part, will make you groan. I just find that funny, though, in all honesty. If I make a bunch of people groan over a joke, I've done my job. If I make them laugh at my joke, I've done my job. If I make them not say anything and stare at me with absolute death daggers coming out of their eyes, I've done my job. Like, if you react to my joke in any way, I've done my job. And if you try not to react to my joke, I've also done my job. That is the point of a dad joke. It's to make you cringe. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad joke, though, at the same time. They come from dads. They make the joke that's like... like, come on, the classic one. Did you get your hair cut? No, I got them all cut. And you just sit there like, yeah. That's why I love them. But puns can be very, very clever to think of some. Like, and obviously, the only reason why I like to talk about this is because this is legitimately what I do. Contrary to some popular beliefs that might be out there, I don't take time to craft every specific joke that I make. And it took years and years for me to even crack jokes in general that are actually good. I will consider my jokes to be good. This is very, very, very boastful of me to even say, I think I can crack some stinking good jokes. It has to be in the moment, though. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can think of a joke and then just say it, and they work really well. But sometimes you can say something and it just not even be funny, and it was like the dumbest thing you said. I've done that for sure. Oh, I remember. There are so many jokes I've made that I just looked like I said it and then instantly went, why did I just do that? But man, I will vouch for puns and dad jokes until the day I die. I was an avid hater of them. And then I realized how actually good they are. You can have some dark ones. I don't like the dark ones. I love the lighthearted jokes. See, that's the thing. If you can make a lighthearted joke that doesn't have to degrade someone or something, or doesn't have to be morbid in any way, that is a good joke. If you have to be morbid about your joke or something like that, I find you lose points automatically. I might laugh at it, but I always kind of say like, you lost points because you had to devolve into something like that. And why I can't make a single joke right now because of the fact that obviously doing something like this, I mean, I definitely could. I'm not going to. I'll save that for cakes. I gotta save my bad jokes and puns for cakes because, you know, I got a cake in a minute. Oh man. I'm moist. Oh my land. It's just the icing on the cake, isn't it? Man, see, that is what you call a pun, but that one's easier to make because Cakes is a last name. You're gonna have jokes about cakes. Just because it's right there. Icing on the cake, cherry on top, you know, a little bit of sprinkle a little bit of love into that. Happy birthday to you. Like, it's not even his birthday. But I just love jokes. I won't lie. I love jokes. I love being able to make jokes or laugh about jokes that are just that way, lighthearted, anything like that. I think I spent enough time on that. Let's see if I can find... okay, I can't. I'm looking at jokes right now, and I just laughed at one. Can I? Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. You ready? I gotta... I don't know why I'm finding this one so funny right now. You ready for it, though? Okay. Did you hear about the negative Nelly who hates German sausage? If you've heard this one, don't spoil it. I told you not to spoil it. I'm kidding. I have no idea. But did you hear about that negative Nelly that, you know, hates German sausage, you know? It's kind of weird. I've never heard of this, but he actually has a phobia because he always fears the worst. He always fears the worst. Oh. I love that joke. That's one of my favorite jokes. Actually, oh my, no, I won't say. I'll save that one. Because you never know, I might actually make a series out of this. Look for my favorite one in the week. Here's a good one. My boss said I find it highly suspicious that you are only sick on weekdays. And I said, must be my weekend immune system. I hope there are people that completely miss the joke so that you can just go like, what? And then you have to try and figure it out so hard. If you would like to know, leave a comment and we might tell you the answer if you didn't get it. And then I get to know who didn't know, and then you can be all on the you can be all on the web being known as someone who doesn't know the dad joke. That was such a good one, though. I won't lie. That was... Yes. I'll say one more, how about? Because all of them are on my phone. None of them are on this, which does not help. But, you know, it was Halloween a little bit ago, like, what, a month ago? So totally timely fashion, but, I walked down the street dressed as a screwdriver. And you know what? I turned a few heads. I've actually got one more I'm going to say. Because I just remembered. And I'm not... No, I can't say it. Never mind. I just realized I'll have to wait until Cakes. So, Cakes, I know you're watching this. This is going to actually be... This is the big thing. We're going to find out right now if Cakes watches this. We're going to find out. Because I'm about to put him on the spot here, but next week I've got a joke for you. I'm going to ask it here. And then I'm not going to say a word. I'm not going to give the answer. I'm just going to ask the question. I just realized you could look it up and get the answer spoiled for you. So maybe I won't. But I am... Okay, I guess I'm not going to say what the joke is. But here's the plug. Next week, when we record Cakes, I'm telling you the joke. If you don't watch this, we will all know. And next week's episode, it will be shown. So you better hope, Cakes, that you stuck around for an hour, 2, and 14 seconds. I just realized that in editing, it's not going to be that long. I'm so sad because that time is going to be different than what it is on the actual thing. So that sucks. Why don't we estimate? It's about the hour mark, okay? It's about an hour. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, whatever. Okay, so... I mean, I think we covered all the bases of just our teams, because covering the entire NHL, maybe at some point we'll be better at doing it. But I like to talk about my team. Now we talk about it. But that is all I think I have. I don't believe I have anything else I need to talk about. I have to kind of go through the all of the things. Nope, I believe that is everything. Rainbow Six Siege, great job. Alright, so thank you all so much for tuning in for this one. This was definitely different because of the fact that I basically had to talk for an hour straight. However, I'm actually quite used to it. I'm not going to lie. And it is not because I talk to myself. Get that out of your head. I do talk to myself. But I don't think I talk to myself for an hour long with nonstop. So, I mean, give or take. If you want to see more, feel free. Subscribe to the channel. We right now have only been able to get this stuff on YouTube. We are having difficulty once more with getting it on other platforms like Spotify and stuff like that. But we definitely still have this running on YouTube. Feel free to sub if you feel like it. I mean, if you're in this late, you might as well subscribe. If you're watching like this late, come on. We are like about an hour in. Like, you might as well just have subbed by at this point. Just saying. Feel free, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, feel free to give her a like as well. Or if you want to show it off to other people, you can share it. I mean, that's up to you. That ain't if you don't want to share it, you don't want anyone else to watch us, I mean, what am I going to do? I ain't going to tell you not to. I don't care enough. I hope, though, you guys were able to enjoy just me basically talking, being quite negative, actually, about the Canucks, as I did not want to be that negative, but tonight's game did not help. I should have recorded this before tonight's game, because... But I didn't get a chance to record until later tonight, so I had to endure my team losing 4-1. Basically every goal going off of someone. It was great. But, you know... I know that Cakes and I, we really do enjoy making this stuff, and I do hope you guys, though, are quite enjoying this. And I usually don't get to do such an extended outro like this because of the fact that usually we're rushed for time, but because It's just me solo. I don't have to worry about Cakes with his time because of the time difference. However, do be prepared, and this is putting myself and Cakes on the spot. I will be heading down back to that area again. I'll be flying down in a little bit. Still a little bit off. I mean, we'll still get 1 or 2 more episodes before I go down. At least 1 more episode will probably be going up. But hopefully we'll have a in-person edition. What sucks is that my editing stuff will not be coming with me, and it means that I have to set up my really slow laptop for this. Or I can just use something else if I need to. I'll use some resources that are down there. Hopefully we'll be able to find a way to edit it and get it up. I know that most definitely we'll be able to find time to record it together. And that'll be a lot of fun. I am actually really excited for that. But that really puts us on the spot for that fact, because I don't know how many episodes we're going to be able to churn out together. And, oh, I'll probably bring my jersey. That poor thing hasn't been able to see a cup final in so long now, since 2011. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. Oh, I guess I gotta plug in the stuff. If you want to follow us, Cakes got an Instagram. That'll be in the description, along with the Unhealthy Scratches podcast. That will be also in the description for Instagram, and then all of our twiddle. Yep, that is a word. Twitter handles. That'll all be also in the description if you want to tune in, follow on that. I know that Cakes is a lot more. I'm just gonna say this right now, okay? Don't judge me. No. What did I tell you? I told you not to judge me. But Cakes is a lot more active than I am on social media platforms. But I do go on, and I do like to retweet, and I'll usually end up doing a mass retweet after of everything, like catching up on everything. But I do kind of make sure to at least hit up a little bit on it. So if you wanna show us some information, maybe something that has gone on, something that has happened, feel free to send it our way. Kind of just put our Twitter handles in the message, and we can talk about it some even. Also, like I said, all that stuff's in the description. Obviously, our channel is not in the description because you're on it. So I don't know why you'd need it. If you found us at this point, then congratulations. But yeah, I believe that is everything about that kind of stuff. I do hope, though, you guys have a wonderful, blessed day, because I know that even though for my team and for Cake's team, we are kind of low when it comes to that stuff. Our teams are not doing great. Not everyone's team's doing bad. And hopefully, no matter what team you cheer for, you're able to at least have a decent day at best. I know that a lot of what's going on, especially with, you want to talk about all the circumstances around, especially with flying. I had to do a lot of that stuff in recent times, just kind of setting up everything I needed just so I could get down there. It could be a lot of a hassle and a lot of a worry and a lot of stress. But, I mean, at the same time, it's good to try and stay as positive and as real as you can about that stuff. So I do hope each and every one of you are having a phenomenal day, phenomenal week. It'll be good to have Cakes back again. It is definitely draining to be able to do this stuff, and especially for the fact that I had to do it so late tonight, so I've been able to actually yell at my team because of that fact, which is a-okay. I mean, I'd rather not. Canucks, just, you guys, I don't know why I did this backwards. Just do it this way. You guys, you can do it. Please do it. But yeah, so thank you everyone so much for watching one last time. I'm going to try that again. Thank you everyone so much for watching and tuning in. Just a final goodbye. Cakes, do you have anything to say? Go Canucks, go. Thank you, Cakes. That's what I've been trying to say. Thank you so much. He would actually be on this side, wouldn't he? I forget which side he's on. I forget if this is mirrored or not. Whatever. I hope you have a good week, and hopefully whatever team you cheer for, they have a good turnout this week. That's what I'm asking for the Canucks. God bless, and see ya on the next one. Unhealthy Scratches. I still don't have a closer. Just a sec, I'm going to think of one. Just a sec. I've got nothing for it, sorry. See you in the next one. Unhealthy Scratches. Out. It's the best I got. We'll think of something for the next one. But later.